welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Corey Baumeister.
And we've got a Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. It is Sultai Gauntlet Day here on Versus Live, where we've been playing a host of aggressive decks trying to take out Sultai, and so far it has been not going so well.
Not going so hot. Yeah, dang. Sultai's really just proven that it's just such a very well-rounded, powerful deck. It just plays the best cards in the format in the form of Uro and Nissa, and it also just plays great 2-mana interactive spells that work well with Nissa, and that is just an insanely powerful recipe here. And yeah, kind of disappointing in from my eyes at least, because I want this deck to be beatable by aggro. Then the format really opens wide open for the rest of our tournaments, but dang, I mean, a small sample size, of course.
Sure, but so far so good for Sultai. And last, we are turning to the most outsider deck. And this is, as Corey noted before the break, the winning list from the latest Red Bull event. And it is It Tempo? A deck that's using, a lot of cheap spells, as you might imagine, and then Dreadhorde Darkness, Stormwing Entity, and Sprite Dragon as the basis of its threat base. And so it really does have a really efficient threat. Sprite Dragon gets big really quickly. Storming Entity can come down as early as turn 3, especially with Dreadhorde Arcanist. You have some good interaction, some counter spells in the sideboard. I think in particular Miscast is going to be great in this matchup.
I don't even know what that does.
1 blue, counter an instant or sorcery unless they pay 3.
All right, that seems good.
Yep. So we've got some main deck Ether Gust, which should be good in the matchup. Ways to deal with Uro, which is really nice. And then hopefully, because the creatures all dodge different removal in Corey's deck, we can hopefully leave him stranded with a removal spell that doesn't line up against the right threat.
Yeah.
And this deck has a quite good closing speed, so if that does happen, you're not going to have much time to draw into an appropriate answer. Yeah,
I'm really, from my end, I'm going to have to really focus on using the correct 2-mana interaction when at the right times, because getting left with a Heartless Act in play when you go Sprite Dragon with 2 mana open, I just look at that and I'm just like, take it forever, I guess. What am I gonna? I think the best use is just wait till you've cast 3 things and then remove 3 counters. That's the only way I actually get value for sure. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of. I need to time my removal correctly, and sometimes there's not going to be a right answer, because you can just do whichever. You might have 2 creatures to play, and you just play whichever one you think I don't have or whatever, and strand some removals in my hand. So I really don't know how this matchup goes, so I'm interested to get into it.
Let's do it. I will be on the play to start game number 1.
Number 1.
What do we got?
You got cards? I got cards.
I do have some cards, and it's going to be a keep.
Yeah, mine's a keep. Nothing special, but it's fine.
Okay, I will shock to 18 and pass.
Oh. Why'd you take 2 when you have no plays? That's so silly. Temple.
About sending a message.
Scry. I think this is somewhat of a trap, keeping something like this. I don't think I'm ever going to have time to cast it effectively, so I'm going to bottom this.
Okay.
Here we go.
Spectral Sailor.
Whoa, Unbeatable Sailor.
Unbeatable. Attack for 1.
All right, I'll take it. 19.
Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Oh, God.
Pass the turn.
That one demands an answer just about every single time. And lucky for me, I do have one that lines up with it. So pass to you.
I will cast a Crash Through.
All right, Crash Through. How many Arclight Phoenixes are coming back? Oh, wait, wrong deck. Okay.
Attack for 1.
All right, 18.
Mountain and another Arcanist.
Oh, Arcanist.
You can go.
Uh-oh. All right, well, I don't have a way to kill that right now, so I guess we're going to do the next best thing in our Dimir control deck here and play an Narset. There's some thought to just not activating this at all, but I don't think that's particularly good, because I do essentially get to keep it alive through 1 attack. Do I want to keep it alive through 2? I don't think that's great, and I need to find something, so I'm going to activate. And whiff incoming. Okay, no, that's the opposite of a whiff. That's probably exactly what I needed. So pass to you. Really limit what you can do to extend the board. Extinction Event is much worse when you know about it, but still, good card. Let's hope you don't have Lightning Bolt from my Narset.
Now we have an interesting decision.
Interesting. I wanted you to just concede this turn. Be like, you can't beat Narset.
I'm going to Samet Sprint the Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Spicy.
Scry 1.
The standard staple.
Yep. I will send Arcanist at Narset, Sailor at you, and Samet Sprint the Sailor.
Okay.
Scry 1.
You've been sprinting. And I'll take 3. Down to 15.
Yeah. And I'm going to leave that one on top. Play this tapped.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
Doesn't want to overextend because whatever he plays, that unlocks the 2-for-1. That makes sense to me. So I think I don't want to just use my Extinction event as a 1-for-1 here. I want to kind of zag a little bit. So we're going to play a Teferi, Master of Time. Results right.
Yep.
Draw. I think this Thought Erasure I wanted to cast it on 2, but I had to eliminate. I don't think it's very good right now, so I'll pass to you. Yes. Just tricky to play against this deck so far. Arcanist is just one heck of a card if it gets out of control. In, where we normally see it, historic, pioneer, modern. More modern and historic, I guess.
Shock the Teferi.
Okay.
Attack Teferi for 1, you for 1, shock Teferi.
All right, that's a great way to answer it. I will first draw. Get rid of Overgrown Tomb and Teferi Falls.
You take 1, go to 14.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
All right, kind of a sad turn, but Hydroid Crisis for 3. Gain 1.
Brings you to 15.
Your go. Just trying to play a little defense without having to Extinction event. Don't really want to use that value yet. I want you to deal with this medium to very bad creature.
Haven't been able to generate enough pressure. That was a good draw.
Pretty tough to gain pressure when you know about Extinction event, because trying to play around it is a little awkward.
Shock Crisis, attack,
Yep.
Shock Crisis.
Okay.
You go to 13.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
Get a green. Crisis for a reasonable amount now. Get a 4/4, gain 2. All right, go to 15, draw 2, and then it's going to be your turn.
Cards in hand.
6. Oh, those are magic cards.
You can go.
All right, that's not great for you. Earl.
You're at 18.
18 to 18. Draw a magical card. Play an island. Sack for as long as I have another forest. If not, I have to play a different land. I would know my list a lot better if I was playing a tournament. But
If you're sacking in response, I'm going to Gust the Crisis.
okay. Then I am going to, it doesn't matter where I'm putting it. I'll be shuffling it in. Good play. All right. Uro.
Okay. Gus the Earl.
All right. 3, 4.
Doing what I can.
5. Yeah. Put that one on top and pass to you. Yeah, that was nice. That was a good sequence.
Okay, now we got to make a push. Sprite Dragon.
Okay.
Attack, crash through, get a counter here.
Okay. No blocks.
Take 4.
14.
And then play Storming Entity, and now I've got 2 odd threats, 2 even threats.
Yep.
And what do I think you're going to Extinction Event for next turn? I would guess even. I am going to leave both of those on top.
Okay.
Pass.
Okay. I choose both.
Pikachu. No.
Evens and odds.
We'll be back for sideboarding. After a short break. Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Izzet, Aggro, and Sultai Ramp. On my side, transforming a bit into more of a flash-style game plan. We've got a bunch of counterspells, Miscast that I mentioned at the beginning of this segment, and Whirlwind Denial, which matches up very, very well against Hydroid Krasis.
Hate that.
Then we've got some Narsets here to shut down Corey's card advantage, gain a little of my own. I'm also bringing in the Brazen Borrower. I think it works really well when you have a bunch of counterspells to have more flash threats. Mm-hmm. I'm also trimming on Unsummon because it's a weak card if you flood on it, but you still want some of that effect. It often, you often bounce an Uro or a Krasis right at the end when you're killing your opponent. Cutting Shock, since it's the worst card in this matchup, just not a very effective card. I'm also trimming.
It did do some work to me that game, though, but yeah.
It's not, it did some things, but they weren't good things.
Yeah, I agree.
Treaded a lot of water.
Yeah.
I'm also trimming a couple of Riddle Forms. When you become this Flash-style deck, it's a lot more awkward to trigger Riddle Form on your own turn and actually attack with it. So not a card I want to flood on in this configuration.
We see that kind of dynamic with why Izzet Phoenix is bad now, right? Like, because whenever you want to transition into a control deck with that, now your whole deck is at ends with itself, and like that's why I think that deck is not good right now. You can't transform, and yeah.
So
sorry, continue.
Riddle Form has that same issue. That's a good point. So trimming way down on Riddle Form. It's still a fine card. One of the things it does well is dodge Extinction Event.
Yeah.
And enter the God Eternals. So, has its place here, but when you have a bunch of Eliminates and Heartless Axe post board, it's still pretty easily answerable. So, gonna trim 2 of them.
Okay, makes sense. So, from my end, this is a deck that, I would think nobody was really ready for, and that's probably why it got some of its wins. It kind of feels like the mono white aspect to me, how like mono white won one of those Red Bull events, and then was just completely unplayable for the PT finals the next week. It just seems like one of those decks that gets you by surprise. You don't have a good sideboard plan against it, or really even know what you're playing against, and then you get those wins, and then when you realize what to bring in if it becomes a powerhouse, then it's pretty easy. So these are 6 cards that I actively do not want to draw, and I think they're very bad, and these are the only 6 cards that essentially have text against this, so pretty easy sideboard plan for me. It's like I could bring in this, but I already almost wanted to cut my Thought Erasers, so yeah, pretty easy sideboard for me. All right. Well, yeah, I got to say it. Sultai has just been looking good. I wanted to do something different, and I'm still kind of considering like Teamer Adventures, because normally Sultai was just beating up on that deck, and it just wasn't great because your Brazen Borrowers and your Bone Crusher Giants were just not good against Sultai. But with how they're starting to get configured, if they are playing Sharks and they're playing more of a flash game, then those adventure cards are actually good again. But if people just stay at level 1 Sultai, it feels like it still could be rough, but mostly I just do not want to play Sultai Mirrors again. So I want to pivot, and I think it is going to be a good weekend to not buy into the arms race that is Sultai Ramp Mirrors, but That's just where I'm at right now. I still got some testing to do, that's for sure.
So far, it certainly looks like Sultai is still holding its own, even
It's
when
just so
got
good.
a big target.
It's so good.
What did you play Teferi's tutelage?
Oh, tutelage! I did play a fun, I guess, yeah, it was a Kyle West deck. Remember that? The tutelage, peer through, whatever, and won with it. Let's go.
Tutelage combo.
Yes. I think we need to retire that deck at 1-0 and never bring it back.
You don't
Okay.
your opponent's free arrows?
Yeah, no, not really.
That will be on the play here, and
All
my
right.
hand is unplayable garbage. So
Okay. Good start. My hand is probably looks medium, but will play out very, very well. Ooh, this is pretty medium. I'll keep. All right, Rob, do you got a question for us? Any last minute questions?
I do not right now.
Okay. Queue is open if somebody wants to get in, our last questions here towards the end of the show. All right, down to 6. My hand is very medium.
They were a little disappointed Ross didn't give me a poem to recite, but
Oh yeah,
he's waiting for me to not be thinking about it.
yeah. It's become
I've got some in the noggin. Don't worry.
it's become a staple now. It's like the beginning of The Simpsons or Bob's Burgers, how they have that one little change each time. We gotta do the same.
Don't worry. I've got a few.
Great.
God, this hand sucks.
So this isn't the deck you're gonna sleeve up this weekend? You're not gonna be prowessing people? You think you're gonna be rack dosing so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just locking it in. You like the deck. You've been doing well with it. I know.
Yeah.
We bubbled. We were bubble bros this time. He took 16th. I snuck in at 8th. It was good times last weekend.
Yeah. Play temple.
Okay.
I'll scar this other temple to the bottom.
Okay. Temple of Tea. All right. I got this. Here you go.
Steam Guns pass.
Okay. I got an island. Here you go.
I have an island. You're up.
Okay. I'm going to untap. I'm going to take 2 and attempt to gain 3.
Yep.
That has been the motto of this show so far. Lose 2, gain 3. So I'll go to 21. Draw. Land go.
End of turn. Spectral Sailor.
Unbeatable Sailor. Okay.
Attack for 1.
Okay. 20.
You can go.
So now here's a good lesson for people and something I really like to do. I never want to just give you the easy, activate your sailor because I don't do anything turn. On these type of turns, I always like to jam, even if it looks like there's going to be a counterspell, just to stop you from being able to draw. And double spelling into face of counterspells is usually pretty good as well, so maybe that's what I want to try to do. Let's start with a Narset.
Narset resolves.
Activate. Options. All right. I'm going to get a Heartless Act. And pass to you.
End step, draw a card.
I'll respond. I don't want you to be able to do that a lot. So I'm going to get a green and then I'm going to eliminate it. And it's your go. I want to keep Heartless Act for the Storm entity. I think that's more important, but
Sprite Dragon.
punished.
Attack Narset for 1.
Okay.
Pass the turn. So know you have a Heartless Act.
And that's it. Yep. Sack this. I'm going to go with a Teferi.
Resolves.
I will tick up, draw. And discard this land. Pass to you.
Attack Narset.
No blocks.
Take 1.
Bang.
Pass the turn.
End step, draw. Discard this Uro. I mean, I could Heartless Act here if it was real stupid that you just need any spell, so let's not do that. Draw. So do we want to go for Uro or try to cast one of the other cards in our hand? Guess we can start with a draw. Discard this, play this. Nissa.
Whirlwind Denial Nissa. Trigger.
Yep. Your go.
End of turn. Opt. Trigger.
Yep.
Leave it on top.
Okay. I can almost remove all 3 counters, full value.
Attack Narset.
Phase it.
Narset.
Okay.
I will minus mine.
Okay.
Interesting.
Don't like that.
You have 4 in hand?
3.
3, one of which is a Heartless Act.
Correct.
I will take a Riddle form.
Okay. Riddle me this.
So the cards Corey can have that deal with Narset are Eliminate and Nissa.
Yep. Or Casualty. Or no, I took those out. That's right.
Can't really do anything about Eliminate, and you don't play very many of them. You've already used 1. Yeah, I'm going to play the Riddle form.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Sweet.
No, and a turn Eliminate.
I got the Nissa. Got the Nissa. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Let's go with... I can't Uro first to really use my mana properly, so attack Narset. Get it out of there. That's the spirit. All right, then I will Uro. Get rid of these. Leave the other Uro. Gain 3. Bang.
23.
23. No land drop. Already untapped this. I guess I can draw. Discard this and pass to you. Yeah, this Sultai deck, I think it's going to catch on. I think it's pretty good.
3 in hand.
4. You know 1.
I'll definitely have to start with gusting something.
Okay.
And it's probably going to have to be the Nissa. Yeah, gust the Nissa.
So that turns on Riddle Farm, right?
Yeah.
All right. And gives you a
Here.
counter on Sprite Dragon. So I could choose to phase that and not let you get a counter. I don't know if that's super valuable. Doesn't feel super valuable. All right, all your stuff resolves. I'll put this on top.
Send both a Teferi.
Okay, saying that I cannot protect it, so I might as well get a loot in. All right. And it's dead.
Unsummon Uro. Counter here.
Okay.
Storming entity, scry 2.
Okay. This is getting scary.
1 on top, 1 on bottom.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. Well, this is going to be a decent amount to overcome. That was a good draw. So I have Nissa. What's the best way to do things? I think just these is like basically the only play I can do, but it's very strong. So, okay. Let's go with Nissa. I'm going to black-green, Heartless Act the entity, untap, attack for 6.
14.
And eliminate this while I can. And pass to you. Oh, yeah.
Unsummon the Triome.
Okay.
Attack Narset.
Narset's down.
Crash through.
Yep, here's the draw cards that have been stuck in your hand. That would make sense. And you're at 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea what I can possibly draw here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the deck just has enough power. You know, it seems like if you can out-tempo them, sure, but it seems like it runs the problem most blue-red decks do, is that you can't play from behind. Like, Gust is the best you can do, and yeah, that seems tough.
Yeah, and like my answers just never lined up very well. I was vulnerable to Krasis in game 1, so you had Krasis. I was vulnerable to Nissa game 2. You had Nissa.
Yep, and 2 of them. You know, you dealt with 1 of them.
Yeah. Oh, it was 2 both times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should be specific. I was vulnerable to double of those in both games.
Yeah. And it's tough. I mean, that is just the power of Sultai. Like, Nissa, Uro, Krasis, or Narset, you're weak to one of them. Every deck is weak to one of those cards. Or multiples.
Yeah, Extinction Event stopped me from being able to apply pressure in game 1 and knowing about it. In game 2, I just wasn't really able to. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, Extinction Event on game 1, I knew I wasn't going to cast it for like 5 turns, but just you knowing about it changed the whole dynamic of the game. Yeah. In my favor, for sure.
I'm 1 short of dealing with the Nissa next turn, so I don't think that does anything. I guess I can find a Sprite Dragon and deal with it, and then somehow try to deal with Uro. So I guess I just pass the turn.
Okay. So,
maybe I was supposed to attack the Nissa last turn.
Yeah, then you need to draw cards and stuff too. So yeah, it is tough. That's for sure. All right, let's start with Uro.
And throughout all of this is just to deal with the stuff Corey has. Like, I literally haven't dealt him a point of damage this game. He's at 26. So like, even if I were to take control of this game, he would have 6 turns to draw into anything.
Yep, it's tough. All right, I'm going to take 2. 24. I'm going to untap this forest, get in there for 6.
I'm at 8.
And yeah, crisis for 8 after I get a forest with this. So we got the whirlwind denial. It's pretty good, but not. I'm drawing 4 more cards.
Go to 28.
All right, yep. All right, 28 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 7 cards. Pass to you. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
I don't think there is a sequence of draws that keeps me alive.
I think it's really tough to have a sequence of draws, like you said, to deal with this. And then, like, just the restock, the Narsets. Narset static is insanely good against blue-red. Historically, it just always has been. And, yeah, and then just enter the God Eternals to refuel, to get more stuff. It's tough.
Okay, that can do something.
Uh-oh.
Gust here.
Bottom that. Don't need that. I got too many Uros in the graveyard. I have all 4 Uros. Don't need the 4th one.
Obviously a mana short.
Really? I'm doing something sick?
I'm staying alive.
Oh, okay. That is sick.
Yeah. I could bounce Crisis, play Barher, give it haste, kill this thing, and live at 2. You're a completely stocked hand, but
yeah.
The games with mono green and Rakdos felt close, where a draw here or there would have turned a lot of those games around, and you just happened to be on the right side of most of them.
Yep.
This just felt hopeless.
That didn't
My
feel
cards
good.
just didn't.
I agree. That does not. That seemed like it was the mono white effect. It was just a surprise. So people didn't know how to play against it really, and I'd be interested to watch. Some of it, what actually happened, because it just didn't look super powerful. And I mean, once again, I had great draws. I think since that game 3 with mono green.
You mean the game 1 that you lost?
No, the game where like you had a decent draw, but I just ran you over, but it's because my draw was great. That was
game 3.
I just had great draws from then on out, and then Sultai just feels hopeless to play against. I just had great turn 2 interactions, Uro on 3 to a tap land, and then turn 5 either double interaction or Nissa untap interaction. Like the deck's just really hard to argue that it's not the best deck. I mean, I think that's a pretty safe bet, but
anytime you're able to curve beautifully with that deck while playing proactively and have the interaction tucked in on the right turns, I mean, it just looks unbeatable. In fact, it was. I won a single game today.
Was it only one game?
Yeah.
Just the Rakdos one?
No, the game with mono green.
Oh, God. Well, if our goal today was to show you that, hey, you can play anything besides Sultai. You don't have to play that. We did not do our job because it didn't look good. But honestly, these are 3 decks that have been pressuring Sultai and have been trying to do something. What do you think? I mean, of course, this is a small sample size, so we got to take everything with a grain of salt. But is it hopeless to play aggro against Sultai?
No. And the games, even though you won 4 of the 5 games you played in the first 2 matches, I think 3 of the 4 that you won were really close. You just happened to come out on the right side 3 times.
Yeah, and that Uro with mono green completely dead if that's like any other card.
That's one of the 3, right? And there were some flooding issues in the Rakdos games. The only thing that felt really bad was the Izzet deck.
Yeah.
And I know because my draws weren't unreasonable. I drew a reasonable mix of lands and spells, a reasonable mix of threats and cantrips, but nothing I did was at all powerful or threatening to you in any way.
It wasn't.
So that was the matchup that really came away unimpressed. The other 2, Mono Green has the issue of it running into your interaction.
Yeah. Gust mainly.
In particular, Gust.
Yeah.
And then Rakdos occasionally has the issue of just not being able to apply enough pressure. So they both have a critical weakness that you have to try to mitigate with aggressive mulliganing and knowing how to knowing when to take risks and play into your removal. So there's issues on both sides, but they if we played enough games, you would see some of the games where they really do shine, where Rakdos plays through your interaction, has the claim for the Uro, and it looks really awesome.
Yeah.
Or the games where you stumble at all. Maybe you have the removal spell on 2 and the Uro on 3, but don't have a great follow-up. Or you just have removal on 2, Narset on 3 against Mono Green, and that's not even close to enough. You'll see more of those games the more you play, and those do happen a fair amount of the time. So I'm not that worried about the first 2, but I came away wholly unimpressed with it.
Same. And honestly, it looked, you were doing things. Like you said, you were doing some things your deck was doing, but I'm just looking and I'm like, I have three ways to deal with this right now. It's like, you're not winning this game, And
I just was doing things you didn't care about.
Exactly. And I mean, here's the thing about Sultai. We saw some mix and draws from your decks, like some good draws, some flood, stuff like that. Sultai's always in the middle. It can have that insane draw where it goes Thought Erasure, Uro, Nissa, untapped, 2-mana interaction. But all its other medium draws, every card replaces itself, surveils, looks at cards. So it's a very consistent deck, and the best way to take advantage of this is to minimize the interaction and hope they don't have the nut draw. And that might be a case where it's like, okay, just join them if the deck's that powerful. It might be like Team Wreck, and maybe not. It might be there's still some other ways to deal with it. Maybe Team Adventures is going to come back. That's where I'm thinking of starting, but this wasn't a great thing to make me want to try another deck. This just feels so good. It feels so powerful. You feel in control of your own destiny for the most part. That game you won with Mono Green, I didn't have a chance. There was no chance, but for the most part, the games I feel somewhat in control, and
and then the consistency point you made is really important. It does just the deck rarely floods because you have so many ways to manipulate your draws and so many mana sinks and so much card advantage. So if you know that you're just almost never going to flood, you play a high land count. They're always up near 28.
Something like that,
and then it's very rare that you miss an early land drop. So if you're not doing either of those things, you're going to constantly have stuff to do over the course of the game. You're never going to run out of gas. You're never going to be short on mana. So that kind of thing gets you a couple free games almost every tournament. It's going to happen where your opponent stumbles or your opponent floods going along, and you just take over the game, even if your draw wasn't that great.
Yeah. But let me tell you, Sultai mirrors are so frustrating. It's like, okay, all right, I set this game up beautifully. Now I just have to hope they don't draw anything insane. Oh, casualties 4-for-1 game's now over.
Crisis, draw 3 cards.
Exactly. It's such a swingy top deck thing, unlike Temur Reclamation mirrors. I know you didn't play a ton with that deck, but Temur Rec mirrors are just really high skill intensive. They were fun. You felt in control, but Sultai, it's just like,
there was so much interaction in those that the haymakers weren't as reliable, so you didn't play as many of them, so that games just didn't come down to that. It was either played that really tactical flash mirror game, or one person got an early reclamation and you lost it very early.
Exactly. But it didn't happen much because you had 9 counter spells post board and stuff, Okay, well, that about wraps up our Sultai Gauntlet. I think we proved Sultai is pretty dang good. We'll see when this weekend, and we'll talk about it on Tuesday and see
if other people can come up with better options for fighting it than we have, because we clearly failed.
We clearly did fail. So, all right, Rob, if you got one question or a couple, we can empty the queue. If not, we'll thank some subs and stuff.
No questions, so I'm going to thank some subs.
All right.
Diothar25, Comrade Brain, subscribed for 6 months, and Heptagon24 gave out 5 subs today. So thank you to all of them.
Heptagon, I was streaming last night. He gifted out some subs in my channel as well. Heptagon, you are a lifesaver. You're the lifeblood here. So thank you so much to anybody who subbed, especially Heptagon, who gifted 5 subs. We really appreciate you. If you want to support Star City Games in another way and get some really cool stuff to boot, head on over to starcitygames.com/join-premium. $7.99 will gain you access to exclusive content from our SCG writers, as well as 5% off sealed product, 10% off singles, and then 15% off supplies. So go ahead and subscribe today.
Yes, and we are also sponsored by the good people at Coalesce Apparel. If you like the shirts that we wear, head on over to coalesceapparel.shop and use the gift code SCG to get 10% off of your purchase.
Yeah, I didn't think there was many political shirts, but we got a campaign shirt here for Merritt Lead, so.
I'm in.
I'm in, absolutely. Indestructible, what more could you want? 2020, it flies. That's nice. So also, if you want to sit and be as comfortable as we are every single day here on Versus Live, head over to Carnox Gaming Chairs, carnox.com/SCG. Use that affiliate link to get yourself 10% off one of these awesome gaming chairs. All right, that does it for our sponsors. That does it for our Sultai Gauntlet. It was, a beating. Sorry, Ross. We'll let you play the best deck next time and mix it up a bit. But yeah, Sultai was pretty impressive. We are going to be playing the Star City Games Standard Championship Qualifier number 4 on Saturday. So if you want to join us in the battlefield, the digital battlefield, there are still qualifiers running all day today and tomorrow. So $20 gets you into these tournaments. 4-0 gets you straight in, or you can try a couple of times, have some decent results, and all of a sudden you're qualified as well. These tournaments have a nice prize purse as well, $2,000 up top, guaranteed $500 if you top 8. I've never gotten past the top 8, so don't ask me what the top 4 payout is because never seen that number before. But really fun tournaments run by our awesome producers like Rob. The tournaments run super smooth. They're on MTG Melee. I have nothing but good things to say about them. They've been an absolute blast. So go ahead and join those tournaments. Join us on the tournament. And we will be back Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time to talk about the tournaments and play some more fun Magic. How about that?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, I got the Marbles Bolt this time. You got them like 3 times in a row, though. We've been really on streaky streaks here. So
the way Magic goes sometimes.
I agree. Okay, so that's going to do it. So for Corey, Ross, and Rob, we will see you Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye.